Hello, it's Greg Harrelson here with Myrtle Beach Real Estate TV. Of course, a lot of you know that I am the owner of Century 21, the Harrelson Group in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I just wanted to share some information regarding purchasing a property. And there's multiple steps that's involved with purchasing a piece of real estate, whether it's a home or a condo. And I wanted to walk you through some of those steps. I'll keep it simple, but there's 10 steps that pretty much you'll have to actually go through in any purchase that you do. Step number one, and this is the right thing to do, is just go ahead and start off with having your credit pulled. Go ahead and get a credit report, get your credit score, so you have an idea of whether or not you can borrow money. Now, I am making an assumption that you may be borrowing, so it's good to go ahead and get that credit score and then start talking to a bank about what kind of lending options are out there. What are the costs associated with a loan at your credit score? Maybe the interest rates associated with loans at your credit score. So start there, because that's going to have a lot to do with your affordability, what you can afford to purchase, because the cost, the interest rate is going to impact the payment, and based on what you're comfortable making on a monthly payment, that could determine the purchase price that you're going to be looking to purchase your condo or your home. So number one is checking your credit report. Make sure you understand what your score is and talk to the bank. The next thing is to then go ahead and figure out how much you can afford. In other words, look at the taxes, the insurance. If there's HOA payments in the community, you may want to look at that, as well as the cost associated to a mortgage, and figure out what the monthly cost is going to be. You're going to then have to determine, okay, is this, what am I comfortable paying on a monthly basis? So go ahead on the front end, determine what you can afford, because there's no use to looking at properties in a price range that you can't afford. A lot of times that leads to disappointment. So step number two is, of course, figuring out what you can afford. Then the next thing is, is talk to a real estate agent. You need to understand values in particular areas, like what are homes selling for in certain areas? What are the good communities that are close to the amenities that you like? Like, do you want a certain school district? Do you want to be close to shopping, restaurants? Do you want to be in a rural area and get some land? In other words, you need to go ahead and engage with a real estate agent, share with them your wants, your needs, and then allow them share back to you, where some potential communities are. Now, a real estate agent's not going to choose the community for you. They're going to basically share with you what your options are. So once you check that credit report, you go in and look at what you can afford, you talk with a real estate agent, then you want to go ahead and get pre-approved. Okay, so now you have an idea of what your credit is, your affordability. You've talked to an agent, so you know some of the communities that you would like, and you know the price points. So what you want to do now is you want to really go to the lender and ask them to pre-approve you. Now, what they can do when they pre-approve you, they can look at your verification of job, verification of income. They'll look at that credit report. They'll talk to you about, any debts that you have, and look at what your debt to income ratio is. And then they're going to talk to you about your price point and what they're willing to lend, how much money they're willing to lend. And then they're going to issue you a letter. You want to share that letter with your real estate agent, because that letter is going to come in handy when it comes to negotiating a good price of the for the property that you're looking to purchase. The next step, number 5, is you want to start looking at homes. So you start with looking at areas of the town, and then you narrow it down to communities, and then you narrow it down to homes. That's a perfect way to go about this, is to start with communities, because you start a little bit broad, and then you narrow it down over time, and a good real estate agent should be able to point you in the right direction. And then when you find something that you really like, then go ahead and send a proposal over to the seller. So talk with your agent about preparing an offer, a purchase agreement. Go ahead and figure out, okay, what price are you going to offer? What do what's your bottom line price? Maybe you offer this, a certain number, but you know that you might compromise in a negotiation. Do you want the owner to pay closing costs? Do you want them to throw in the patio furniture? These are the things that you talk with your real estate agent, and then you formulate a plan on presenting an offer to the other agent if there's another agent involved, so they can present it to the seller and the negotiations begin. Now, let's just assume that you're able to work out the details with price, then you want to make sure, in my opinion, I would always do this, is always make sure that the sale is contingent upon a home inspection. So go out there and hire an inspector and get a professional inspector to go in and take a look at that house inside and out and give you all the details of what could go wrong, what's wrong with it now, what could go wrong, the age of the HVAC, the age of the roof, the shingles, if there's shingles on the roof. You know, you want to collect all that information to make sure you're going into this purchase with your eyes wide open. And if you make it contingent upon the home inspection, if there's some things that are alarming that you have issues with, then at that point you can go ahead and possibly renegotiate or determine that's not the house for you and go ahead and back up and start looking for an additional home. Then, of course, you'll engage with an attorney now that you've got the property under contract. The attorney, the real estate agent, the mortgage lender, if there is one, will all coordinate all the paperwork to make sure that you have a smooth transaction, and then there's a closing day. And then at closing day, you know, congratulations, that's when they hand over the keys, and then you can move in and start enjoying your new home. So I hope that information was helpful. I just wanted to kind of break down the proper steps. And I do believe you should go through these steps in this particular order in order to have the best buying experience possible. If there's anything we can do for you, please reach out to me. I'm Greg Harrelson or any of the agent at Century 21, the Harrelson Group. We wish you the best in your real estate purchase. Bye-bye.